Welcome to this New Year's Eve edition of TW Sports Talk, and obviously there's more than one reason to party now if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
Mm-hmm.
As we, in not so pretty fashion, the Dallas Cowboys were beaten.
Yep.
And essentially the NFC East was won, 10-6.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys put up a good fight. We'll leave it at that.
Kyle Orton had a pretty decent.
He didn't do too bad. Yeah, I mean, I think the whole story of this game, from his perspective, is his throwing motion over top of
Mm-hmm.
Eagles defenders that they couldn't quite get the pressure on him that maybe they were able to in other weeks.
Really,
on other quarterbacks.
Really, it wasn't until the Barwin block was when they actually were able to knock the ball down.
Yeah, when he looked like his old basketball player, in college. And,
just swatting it down.
Yeah, I mean that motion I think definitely helped helped make the game interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that this game was hard to watch, from an Eagles perspective because you're just wondering like why is Dallas still in it?
Well, yeah, and I started getting nervous there because I'm like this is at Dallas year, and when it's always close, you always think home team has the advantage because this crowd's just going to start getting louder and louder. Because even if they're losing, as long as a touchdown we got the lead or a field goal we got the lead, they're going to be into the game the whole time. And that's going to put more pressure on the away team.
Yeah, and
to be fair, the second half they Foles only threw for like 60 yards.
Yeah,
he was showing signs of bad neck Foles again.
Yeah.
I mean, at first I was fine with the first half performance by Foles, but the second half was not that impressive.
Yeah, the protection, I don't know. The protection was a little off in this game. The Cowboys got some pressure on.
They got 6 sacks on Foles. Which is just.
I mean, he was facing.
I mean, that's horrendous. If you're.
Yeah.
Like I said, the worst defense in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, granted, there's that one comment Bill made where it's we contain LaShawn McCoy, and I'm like, he had 132 rush yards. I mean, I guess we're going from the worst defense in the history of the NFL. I guess that's
not bad. I guess it could have been worse.
I guess it could have been worse. I guess it could have had 200 maybe. I mean, usually 132 is not bad, but we're gonna call that contained.
Or shut down. And I mean, and plus he had that pretty easy. Touchdown reception early in the game too.
I mean, DeMarcus Ware showed up when he had to.
Yeah,
it kind of needed to because with Sean Lee out, he's the only guy on that defense.
Yeah, and Monty Kiffin probably has Chip Kelly's number.
I'm actually starting to buy that now. I mean, Skip Bassball was like former USC defensive coordinator. He's seen his offense many times before at Oregon, and this sometimes USC's got Oregon's number, even if USC has a horrendous defense. They just. Some reason they can just stop Oregon, and maybe that's what it is right now. I don't know if that means Kiffin's job safe for the year or that. I mean, all it means is that if you face Philadelphia, you might be able to slow them down essentially.
Yeah. I mean, the Eagles.
Everybody else, not so much, but if you Philadelphia,
obviously the last game, they scored 21 more points than. They did the first Cowboys game, so obviously there's some progress.
Well, she's got that first touchdown. Like, already Nick Foles is playing better than he did in the first game because we didn't get one touchdown that first meeting.
So automatically,
automatically it's better. That first touchdown better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was some controversy. Like there wasn't any really end of the season game that was so much on the line.
Yeah, couple missed pass interference calls, perhaps.
A mysterious play clock.
And then the clock, you could, Collinsworth and Al Michaels.
I mean, granted, Dallas scored in that drive, which why it wasn't really talked about. They didn't score. That would have been talked about more than any other controversy happened. Obviously, the 4th and goal. I was fine since it was at the 1. I don't know how you don't hand it off to McCoy, though.
Yeah.
You got the best running back supposed to be in the NFL this year.
Right.
At the 1 yard line, I mean,
I
don't care if he's going up the middle, he's going to try to go over, or he's going to go on the side and try to outrun. I mean, you name it. I would have been happy with that, or even maybe throw a play action pass to maybe Selleck or Ertz, because it's tight ends were
throw off the defense.
Actually, technically, the tight ends on both ends of the ball were getting a lot of nice catches on the linebackers there. I mean, let's be fair, Jason Wooden had a hell of a game. I mean, he's the top receiver on Dallas that night.
Right.
which is good news for a corner, is bad news for a linebackers essentially. Even though Kendrick had two big plays in that game too. But yeah, I mean, I would have preferred play action or McCoy. But
Foles just doesn't have.
Obviously we would have scored. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
In how the game probably would have gone down too, but it did happen, and we got the win though. You get the win, and it's one of those ones where it wasn't a pretty win.
Right, there's a lot to learn from.
An ugly win. Does it give me a lot of confidence when we're facing Drew Brees next week? I mean, yeah, it's going to be the cold outside, but you don't disrespect a guy like Drew Brees.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Graham. I mean, after all, Jason Witten just. Can you imagine maybe Jimmy Graham going crazy on this defense? I can.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean the thing too also to take. I mean, at least the Eagles were never down in this game. Actually, they were ahead the whole time. Yeah. It's just
just could not put them away.
Maybe work. Yeah, in the third quarter, a few 3-and-out drives. Maybe figure it. That's happened before in this season for whatever reason. Like the third quarter.
Yeah.
Became like a dead spot for the offense. But yeah, I mean, some play calls that maybe were questionable. So yeah, I mean that's on defense as well. There's the one play where they had like basically an empty, no safeties back in the back, and then I think the Eagles got torn up for a touchdown there.
Oh, Des Bryant, yeah.
Yeah.
That was maybe one of the stupidest defensive plays there.
Yeah.
You need to have at least some safety back there.
Yeah.
Because, we saw what happened. Patrick Chung missed a tackle. Des Bryant, being the big guy that he is, just brushes him off, an easy touchdown.
Yeah. Now there was some other. I mean, there were other times though, like where the Nick Foles fumble happened, and the Cowboys had the ball in like field goal range, and they didn't even move the ball a yard. So I mean,
well that's the thing too. A lot of missed opportunities for Kyle Warden and the Cowboys. There. I mean, there were times they were driving, and all of a sudden they get down to the 20, and it's just they can't get any further.
Yeah, and the defense could, sometimes comes up big with those turnovers.
I mean, and DeMarco Murray, I mean, he had some nice runs here and there, but really, he didn't get too crazy. I mean, really, the whole game on us. I mean, which maybe you can shut up some Cowboy fans about, we got to give the ball to DeMarco more often than that. And I guess in the words of Skip Bayless, he fumbles the ball too much, and he's not LaShawn McCoy. I mean,
yeah. And the Eagles, their run defense has been pretty good this year.
It's the passing that's been horrendous. But we're still, I think, the game after this game, we're now 29th overall in defense.
Yeah.
So it's come down to the facts here. We're getting to the Super Bowl this year. Doubt it, but it's not going to be on the back of our defense. It's going to be in the back of this offense scoring maybe 35 a game. And that's maybe how much you got to score if you want to beat some of these teams. Definitely the Saints, their offense. But, I mean, we're also facing a lot of good defensive teams. I mean, you got the Niners, you got the Panthers, and Seattle. The road obviously has to go through Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, we'll take the win here from over the Cowboys as we move forward in the playoffs. I was going a little yippee-ki-yay after the game, but yeah, I mean it's a respectable performance by the Dallas Cowboys, certainly.
Definitely. So. But interesting to see what the offseason is for that franchise. As so far, Garrett's not getting fired. Kiffin's rumored to be let go, but nothing official there. And they don't fire anybody.
Yeah.
But I'm an Eagles fan, but I feel sorry for the Dallas franchise that essentially there because it gets to the point now where it's like they're pretty much accepted mediocrity. Then. Yeah. This is the third straight year they went 8-8.
Yeah.
In the year before those they went 6-10. I mean.
It's another.
And this is called America's team for crying out loud. I mean, nobody gave them the name. That's what they called themselves. So I mean, so if you're gonna call yourself America's team, you're gonna start playing like America's team.
Yeah.
Although, as Bill Fikes says, Cowboys are like America right now. We're down and we might be out for a while. But as he's joking about, the U.S. economy and so on and that. But still, I mean, when you think about America, you think usually positive stuff in that. I mean, not to mention you got 5 Super Bowl rings here. I think the expectation should be a little bit higher than maybe Philadelphia, for example.
Yeah, and
who's got none.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't say if you're a Yankees fan, you gotta be disappointing right now. You haven't been in a series in a couple of years.
Right.
You're not the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, who've never won a World Series. The expectations are clearly different.
Yeah.
There's a positive negative, Tyler, to having a lot of Super Bowl rings and no Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
The expectation should be a little bit higher for the teams that have a lot to the teams that don't have any.
Yeah, and obviously it's got to hurt when they're writing, yet another chapter in the book of how to go 8-8.
Yeah.
So yeah, third straight and
1-3 in December. 1-3 in December.
Yeah,
I mean it was.
Which is typical of recent years too. And
I mean, the Eagles went 3-1 in December. I mean, we only lost to Minnesota, which once again another game where if you're trying to figure out what the hell happened there.
Yeah, they're 7-1 the late stretch of the second half of the season. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's only a few other teams in the NFL. I mean, well, the NFC, you got the Panthers that finished 7-1.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, they finished 11-1 because they started 1-3.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Yeah, and so there's not many teams that you can really think that finish like that, but but obviously the New Orleans Saints is what they're preparing for Saturday night too.
Saturday night game. Obviously the Rob Ryan defense.
Yeah, familiar face.
I'm curious how Rob Ryan reacts to the Eagles offense. This is Rob Ryan is usually a creative genius. He likes to think outside the box. Chip Kelly's usually an outside the box guy.
Yeah.
But that's kind of attention. To me, though, it's all down to can the Eagles' defense contain Breeze in this Saints offense? Because I don't care. Outdoor, it's 20 degrees. Saints road record because the Saints got to run the table on the road to even get the Super Bowl now, pretty much. But it's Drew Brees, it's Jimmy Graham, it's Marcus Colston. I mean, it's a very talented Saints offense.
Yeah.
And the secondary has been the second had a pretty nice game. Minus, like I said, Michael Kendricks gets Jason Witten, which I'm curious how he handles Jimmy Graham, who's a way better tight end this season. But no, I mean, to me, that's the X factor there. If the Saints score 35, I think we're done. I mean, I don't think Foles can match them play for play because the Saints defense, although not maybe the best defense in the league, has definitely vastly improved from last year's Saints defense.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, I guess we'll see how they play in this cold weather too.
Yeah.
I mean, on the Saints end. I mean, you saw in the Dallas game. I mean, at one point there were a couple defenders laying on the ground, tired. I mean, who knows? And in cold weather, it's it can be hard to.
I mean,
good thing is the Eagles are well conditioned at this point.
Oh yeah, but I mean, we think also high powered offense. You got to think also the Saints kind of a bit too. I mean, this is like I said, you got Drew Brees who's going to be in the Pro Bowl again this year.
Yeah,
definitely the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
But in the Pro Bowl again this year, along with Cam Newton, who once again having a pretty terrific year as well, and Russell Wilson, which shocked me a bit too. But he's had a good year too. I mean, the one person I think I was expecting to be in the Pro Bowl was it's not Nick Foles, but he's an alternate though.
Yeah.
In case someone makes the playoffs in Super Bowl and the Eagles don't. But I'm trying to think who else I thought maybe should have been in it, but did get selected. I don't know. I know Big Ben maybe on the AFC probably was the one a lot of people thought was going to get in, and he did get in, but.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, as far as Eagles making the Pro Bowl, I mean, you only really have LaShawn McCoy and Jason Peters, I think, is the.
Deshaun Jackson's an alternate too.
Yeah, I mean, as far as starter,
you can get full. Well, this thing, a spot if these guys end up playing, you got fours there too. Then I mean, obviously the Chiefs got 8, and all 8 of them did not play against San Diego. The 49ers got 8. I mean, so you're going based on that. I mean, we know who the two talented teams are in the playoffs this year, based on Pro Bowl positions at least.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys only got 2 as well. Des Bryant was the one guy, and I forget who the other guy was. Yeah. But no, I remember. I know Dez was one of them, and that makes sense. Dez has had a great year.
Yeah,
I think his contract's up too. At the end of the year. So let's just see what he does. I mean, does he stay? I mean, it's funny. I mean, like when one cousin was joking, it's like he wants to see a big wide receiver, like a big muscle wide receiver. That's all we need. he knows Macklin's coming back, and that's great, and Cooper's big and that, but a big guy. I'm thinking, since you're describing a Des Bryant maybe guy, and who knows? Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he looks at this offense and goes, damn. I mean,
Yeah.
he might have a field day of this offense.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? That might be something to
Maybe
talk.
a little FU to Jerry Jones there, maybe too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that might be something to look to talk about during the March free agent off-season
definitely.
period.
I know Dallas is going to try to keep this guy here.
Yeah.
Because they need him very badly right now.
Right.
Miles Austin has had a very mediocre season. I mean, and really, what's the other guy? Cole Beasley, who looks small as hell. I mean,
their stock would probably drop a little bit if they lost Des Bryant.
Oh, definitely.
Especially with that defense too. So
yeah, who might? We don't know. We don't know what the deal is with
Kiffin.
With Kiffin yet. I mean. I assume he's getting fired there. But what does it look like as a franchise when you have to fire two coordinators in back-to-back seasons? And I mean, and I don't think Rob Ryan should have been fired, but obviously you need a scapegoat for that for last year's season too. And you're not firing Garrett, you're not getting rid of Vomo, and we all know Jerry Jones is not going to fire himself, though he probably should have fired himself a long time ago. But no, let's fire Rob Ryan, who now is in the playoffs, and Jerry's on the sidelines once again wondering what the hell happened.
So Saints game this Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of talked about it earlier a little bit.
See it happening,
right?
But Monday night.
That'd be ironic, but
So there's that for the North. I mean, the North's pretty open shut. It's pretty much Arizona's the only wild card team left.
That could
pretty much Green Bay, Detroit, Dallas.
That's for the division.
It's all division battles now between Philadelphia and Chicago. Seattle, I think, has locked pretty much them one seed up.
Yeah.
Carolina and New Orleans, the winner of this matchup will probably get the second seed. Yeah. I mean, there's
New Orleans on the road. They're not too sharp as we saw in St. Louis.
No, they're not. And it's outdoors too, so that's even worse. So I mean,
who knows? It might be Carolina.
Either way, which is like I said, it could be interesting there. But I think if the 49ers get the fifth seed, I know they're 6 right now because they lost to the Panthers, but I do think they're going to move to the fifth seed. Whether it's the Saints that lose or the Panthers that lose, I do see the 49ers winning out at the end and clinching the fifth seed.
Yeah, they're playing very
Which, like I said, I don't want to be the 4th seed then. Because, like I said, this is a Super Bowl contending team here.
Yeah.
That just played against the number 1 seed essentially here. So, I mean, there's that. I mean, best case scenario for the Eagles would be is that we get the 3rd seed. We face the Saints, maybe, or the Panthers.
Yeah.
I'd rather face the Saints now because it would be on the road. It's outdoors. Might even be snow on the ground.
Yeah.
It would be January then. Might be snow on the ground. And then we go to Carolina, which could actually be a competitive game. Panthers are good there, but it's just that you have a young quarterback in Cam Newton. Can he come up big in the playoffs now, finally? His first playoff appearance period. Yeah. So that'd be interesting. But then again, it's going to either be a date with Seattle or San Francisco, probably. Because I don't see anybody in the North being the 49ers.
Right.
Best bet would be Green Bay. That's only if Aaron Rodgers comes back.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
Because it would be at Lambeau, cold, maybe a payback for Colin Kaepernick for that embarrassment last year in San Francisco.
Yeah. Earlier this season, too, the 49ers also beat the Packers, I think, as well.
Yeah. So, I mean... And that was with Aaron Rodgers, so
right, yeah.
Great, it was
very early in the season.
First game of the season. It was a competitive game. It was a shootout, and Kaepernick was able to survive against Aaron Rodgers, but it's at Lambeau this time, not a candlestick.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. Yeah,
like I said, once again, snow could be a factor, but in the end, I think it's all going to have to go through Seattle to get the NFC. And if you're Seattle after 5 interceptions and a shutout against New York in the same stadium that you got to win in the Super Bowl, I'm liking their chances getting there. The AFC, there are so many scenarios for the AFC right now.
Yeah.
Originally it was simple. Denver wins out. They get the first seed. They still have that chance. And they got Houston and Oakland last. So you think they should win out.
Yeah.
If they don't, and Kansas City wins out, then the Chiefs that you said were so mediocre this year.
Earlier in the year, but
that all of a sudden they just walk into the number 1 seed. All of a sudden the road to AFC has to go through Arrowhead instead of Mile High.
But actually, believe it or not, the Chiefs I think are evolving.
Yeah,
because their defense isn't in recent. They got
and they still have 2 key guys out that they might get back for the playoffs too.
Right.
I think Houston's one, and I forget the other guy.
But I mean,
But I mean, this week you saw like with Jamal Charles.
Jamal Charles.
They played to their strength, and
Can I ask you this
they
question
ended up
though,
putting
too
up
quick?
50
Sidetrack.
points.
Best running back in the league, Jamal Charles or LaShawn McCoy right now?
LaShawn McCoy.
Really?
That was one. I mean,
you know what? Jamal
game.
Charles won me over though. I know it was against Oakland, but like he had
that's
4 receiving touchdowns off of screen passes.
Yeah, which is one game. I mean, I'm taking like the whole year here. I mean,
but he's had some solid games all season.
Yeah.
He's the second best running back yard wise behind McCoy here.
Right. But
might be the first if he has another game like that in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, but
so I mean, obviously both are Hall of Famers.
So,
both are going to be in the Pro Bowl probably.
So he passed Peterson and Lynch. Because I know I think it was
point. Yeah,
I think Peterson was second, but now he's hurt.
Yeah. I think maybe Charles might have passed
and
Peterson.
Lynch,
I
thought was third or second.
Yeah,
so
I might be wrong here, but no, I think Jamal Charles
might be
creeping up there. Baltimore is almost going through as some people have said their magical Super Bowl run again, because now they can win out and get the division title.
Patriots this week, I think, too.
Big game for both teams.
Right,
big game for both teams.
And they beat the
and it's at Baltimore, which has not been a favorable location for New England.
Yeah.
So I mean, Baltimore could win out. That they would face Cincinnati in the end. They would move up and then take the division crown. Maybe not the 3rd seed. I think the Colts might actually. They went out. They could get the 3rd seed. Yeah. Maybe a 2nd seed too, depending on what happens up top.
Well, I think the Colts are going to lose to the Chiefs this week.
Big matchup. That is a big matchup there for both teams there. Yeah, obviously, if the Colts lose, I think 4th seed. They're locked in.
I think they'll be the 4th seed and. I forget who Cincinnati has somebody at home. Cincinnati's very good.
They're facing the Vikings.
Yeah, and
which you think they should win, and they got a little bit more solid defense than we do.
Cincinnati's very good at home.
I mean, you got Andy Dalton factors still in there, but I think that the Bengals should win. But that Ravens game at the end is going to be a very big game for both teams. Miami really looks like they're in the driver's seat.
They stepped it up.
Interesting scenario here, though, Tyler, which is that if Miami wins out and they got New York and Buffalo, Buffalo, New York
should
win. So 10-win season. New England loses to Baltimore. Then loses to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Miami would take the division crown because they would have a better division record than New England did.
And then Baltimore could also
beat Cincinnati.
Be the wild card.
No. Baltimore then beats Cincinnati. They would get the North. Yeah. And then the final spot would come down to Cincinnati and New England, who would have the identical record. And who won in the regular season?
Well, the Bengals won in the regular season.
Which means the New England Patriots could miss the playoffs
if
they choked in the final 2 games this year, possibly.
Right.
And if Cincinnati won and lost to Baltimore, and if Miami just won out, which could all happen, I think. The crazy one in the end is going to be if Buffalo could beat New England at Foxborough. Because it was a competitive first one.
Yeah, it was.
This is the same. Because they'd have Gronk in that game. They don't have Gronk in this one.
They don't have Gronk in this one.
They do have some injuries on this team.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady supposedly is hurting.
Yeah.
And EJ Manuel might just be fired up now than he ever has been before. Yeah. Who knows? I'm not saying anything.
I gotta think that the Patriots wouldn't let that happen.
No, you would think. But if it did, what a crazy end to the season.
Yeah.
I think Pittsburgh's done.
Yeah,
they would need.
They're what 5 and 6
and 8.
There's no way that
they would need Baltimore to lose their final 2 and also Miami lose their final 2 because as soon as one of these teams hits 9, they're out.
Yeah, that's hoping for too much.
Yeah, that's San Diego.
They have an outside chance.
7-7. They would.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, they got Kansas City at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think they have Oakland next week. I think they should beat Oakland.
Yeah.
But Kansas City, that could be an interesting game.
Yeah, I mean they beat Kansas City the first time. I don't know if they.
But once again,
I don't know if they.
They would need Baltimore to lose 1, and Miami to lose 1. And if they got Baltimore to lose 1, I think Miami losing 1, I think would be a huge question mark there. But so I think it's really down to these 7 teams here. Technically 9 have a shot here, but it's really these 7 teams here.
Right.
If I had to guess right now, I am going to go Denver
to win. Yeah, they should win the next 2 games.
I'll go Baltimore to take the 2nd seed. I think they're going to win the North. And obviously, to win the North, they got to beat New England.
Yeah.
Which means, they would tie Cincinnati. And then Baltimore. Baltimore would beat Cincinnati, which means they would jump ahead of Cincinnati for the division.
They play them both.
They would jump ahead of New England because of the tiebreaker.
Oh, how about that?
So Baltimore,
a few weeks
a
ago,
2 seed, go from 6 to 2 in the span of 2 weeks.
10 and with what would be a 10
record,
wow,
record, which might be what they had in the playoffs last year.
That'd be a pretty weak, second seed record there.
Yeah, but it's been a very.
But
if you look at these records here, it's pretty much a competitive division minus Denver. This is Peyton Manning's. I always feel this is his to lose. I feel like.
Yeah.
And you would say with their talent, they can't lose. But with this defense and Manning's record in the playoffs, who's to say they won't get bumped in the division or conference championship game? Also, at Mile High.
Yeah. Also, though, you got to factor in that Cincinnati, if they beat Minnesota, they'll have 11 wins. Even if they lose to Baltimore, they'd still be 11-5. If they beat Minnesota, but then they lose.
They beat Minnesota, they would have 10 wins. They lose the ball when they would be 10-6.
Oh wait, they're only 9-5.
They're 9-5. They're 9-5, Tyler.
All right. My
the only head of Indianapolis.
I thought they were 10-4, but they just lost this week.
Yeah, they lost this week, sense. So they're 9-5.
Well, that's true then.
And like I said, the coach. I think I do agree. I think Kansas City will beat Indianapolis.
Right.
Though they showed a lot of offensive life against Houston, but I think Houston's. Yeah. I think this is a different Houston team than they faced earlier in the year.
Yeah.
I don't know how motivated they're going to be in Wyatt Stadium against Peyton Manning. I don't know how motivated this Houston team is because I really feel like they really just have given up this year. Yeah. I really just feel like they just hit the reset button and just waiting for next year to get here.
Right.
So, yeah, I Denver. I'm going to go Baltimore. I think I'll go New England for third. I do think that even though they lose the Baltimore, they should beat Buffalo.
Yeah.
I want to see Buffalo win because I wanted to see the Patriots just fall flat on their face at the end of the year. It's like unheard of, but no, I'm going to go Patriots third. Colts will be solid fourth then because I do see
because they have their division wrapped up. So
after the Chiefs, they face Jacksonville, and that should be a win for the Colts. But I think fourth seed, fifth, of course, would be the Chiefs. They have to clinch that already. The only thing they're playing for now is the division crown yet in Denver. But if Denver wins out, even the Chiefs win out, which could maybe will not happen. Then they got the fifth seed, and then the sixth seed would then go to. I'll go Miami.
The Dolphins. Yeah,
I think Miami's going to win out, and I think if Cincinnati, if I'm reading this right, if Cincinnati. If Cincinnati loses, I think Miami has a tiebreaker over them. So Dolphins get the sixth seed.
Yeah.
And then that means the Cincinnati Bengals would miss the playoffs then.
Yeah.
Which,
that's true. Yeah, because then they'd be a 10-6 team and who would miss the playoffs.
And Miami would be 10-6 because they won the final two games.
Yeah. And
according to this year, based on what I'm reading here, Cincinnati does not have a tiebreaker over. Miami has a tiebreaker over Cincinnati.
Yeah. Yeah, so they both finish 10-6. Miami's got the tiebreaker. They get in. Yeah.
So the Dolphins get in.
Yeah, and that could also happen with the Cardinals too. They could finish 10-6, but they'll still miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean
that happens. It doesn't happen too often.
Like I said, first they got to beat Seattle.
Right.
Let's all laugh at that scenario there, but they do have a shot here.
They have an outside shot.
It's a big long shot because, like I said, Seattle's just.
At home, they're It's
something like the Saints. I mean, that's why the Saints are really motivated this year because if they lose here, they probably just gave up the second seed, which means they got to win on the road.
Yeah.
Because then they probably get the sixth seed, which means they got to win on the road in every game this year.
Yeah.
Not from this Saints team. Maybe past Saints teams, but not this Saints team.
Right.
So I definitely could see that. But yeah, no. So the NFC, I would go Seattle. I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to go Carolina second.
You're not because I think Carolina's going to win this week too.
I do think that this is,
and then
the Saints showed a lot of weaknesses on the road this year, and I think Carolina's a little more motivated this time.
Yeah, and at home,
like I said, now granted they don't clinch it right away because they still got to beat Atlanta to clinch it yet.
Yeah,
the Saints win. It's different. They would clinch second, and they would clinch the division and the second seed already. If Carolina won, they still need to beat Atlanta, and Matt, who knows? Maybe Matt Ryan and them get motivated that last week. But I still think Carolina should beat Atlanta easily at the end of the year. So that means the Panthers would get the second seed.
Yeah, 12-4. Yeah.
I am still terrified of this Chicago game.
Yeah.
Game here.
I mean, in the end, it doesn't. In the end, the Dallas one matters the most. Even if they lose to Chicago.
Since I am a Philly fan, I'll give the Eagles the third seed.
Really? So you have them beating then? Because they would basically have
to
to
beat
beat
Chicago. Yeah,
I thought at first.
it's more hard to my brain. My brain's
mean,
saying it's going to be Chicago, and it could get
right.
nasty very soon.
Yeah,
In that game.
I mean, the thing is too. I mean, this Minnesota loss. I mean, it might have been a good wake up call too for him. You know, everyone was saying how they're they have the longest winning streak now remaining because a lot of teams coughed up their winning streaks or whatever they had, and they had 5. But you know, I mean, this could be good. This could be a wake up call, and I mean, we'll see how they respond.
Despite the
That's
loss,
the
I will give the Bears the division over the Packers.
So okay,
even with Aaron Rodgers
back.
Then
then Chicago would have to beat them again.
They play Green Bay at the end of the year.
Because if Green Bay beats Pittsburgh this
they face
week,
Chicago at the end of the year.
Yeah. So then
it would be a winner take all game.
Right.
And like I said, I got Green. I think Green Bay's. I think Chicago is going to beat Green Bay
in a revenge. That's interesting.
Even with Aaron Rodgers back, because I just think that this, even though this team has talent, the Packers have a lot more holes than the Bears do right now. And Detroit, I think, just coughed it up last night after losing to Justin Tucker and the Ravens. And like I said, you look at this December record. Even though they have a very favorable matchups in the end of the year, like they could easily win out.
They have to. Well, they have to at this point.
Yeah.
To stay alive, they have to.
Well, I should say it too. The Lions win out
because they'd be 9-7. If Chicago loses one game
and win, they would be 9-7. Yeah, maybe the Lions would get in then.
Because the Lions beat Chicago twice.
Yeah, so the Lions would get in then.
It's very
Okay, I'll tell you.
It's very interesting.
No, I'll go with Chicago. I think Detroit's going to lose one more game.
They play. Who do they play this week?
They face Minnesota at the end of the year.
Yeah,
I think they face the Bucks next week.
Or this week, or either
this
way.
week. Yes, I think this week.
Yeah, this week.
I think they face the Bucks
that's right.
I think they face the Vikings
next week. Matchup.
So should be winnable games, but this is December. And it's Detroit.
And Tampa Bay, they haven't been as bad.
No. And Minnesota's showing some signs of life against us. So
they could lose. Yeah, they could lose one of them.
So I'll go Seattle, Carolina, Philadelphia, Chicago, San Francisco, and then New Orleans.
Yeah.
Next week, this could all just change. Yeah, And as crazy as it sounds, I got Washington beating Dallas this week.
Do you? Oh, well then that would mean
I've heard all this controversy over RG3. His dad now wanting, supposedly lobbying for the Baylor head coach to come coach and play Shanahan. You know, I've heard this whole Mike Shanahan isn't even speaking to RG3 even on the sidelines anymore. Yeah. Like they're not even talking, which means Shanahan's probably done for the year because RG3 is Schneider's is the owner's boy, and once that happens, it's not going to happen. But this is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
this is Washington, and it's at Washington, and this fan base
game.
This fan base. If there's anything that can savor this dysfunctional season that Washington has had, it is beating Dallas when Dallas needs a win more than anything right now.
Yeah, and I mean Alfred Morris. I mean the Dallas defense again not very good. So who knows?
Alfred Morris, Pierre Casson. I mean. Santana. I mean, they
have some weapons for being a 3-11 team.
But this team won the division last year. It's
exactly.
The same guys in the roster.
If the Eagles win the division this year, like basically the whole NFC East will have been turned upside down as far as standings.
Granted, a lot of firings. I think Shanahan's done after this year.
A lot of hot seats.
I think Coughlin's gone. Maybe Garrett's gone too, which means Chip Kelly would be the tenured guy at the East. He'd be the dean.
He'd be the dean of the NFC.
Although he gets a call from Texas and he goes there, then all of a sudden, all new coaches next year possibly. Then, but I think Kelly's gonna the safest one right now because this is only his first year.
Right. Yeah.
But a lot of hot
expectations.
But a lot of hot seats, for the NFC East after this year.
Yeah.
But no. So that's what they got this week. I mean, go Eagles. Hopefully we can beat them.
Right.
Something tells me we're not going to. If we lose to the Bears, all it means is that Chicago is going to increase their odds of winning the North.
Probably win. Yeah.
It means that even if we beat the Dallas, we get the 4th seed, which is not what we want because that means the 49ers are waiting. Granted, if we beat San Francisco, looks pretty good. But then again, we probably would have to go play up in Seattle in the divisional playoff game, and I don't think we want to. I think anybody wants to go there in the divisional playoffs.
Yeah.
College championship, maybe, because that might be a lot more motivation there. But no, I mean, so I think we can clinch the division this week.
As long as
like I said, I'm going to be watching this Redskins game and Cowboys almost as much as I watch because I really paid attention to this Packers Cowboys game. It wasn't like I turned it off after halftime
Right.
because
You just had that
I had to
feeling.
watch. I just had to watch. 'Cause I'm just like, this is the Cowboys. It is December. Something's going to happen in this game
Right.
here, and it did. But I'm going to stay for this game here. Like I said, you think that go Cowboys, and they are going to be a favorite, and I think they're like a 3-point favorite right now. But if RG3 was playing, I'd say Cowboys. Because I just feel like when RG3 has been out here, there's been a lot of dysfunction out
I
here.
kind of feel the same way. Like with Kirk Cousins, there's like some
I feel
stability
like
and like just.
I feel like the drama has left the offense,
right? Exactly.
for a little bit.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
So it's Kirk Cousins. He looked okay against Atlanta.
Yeah.
This is a horrible defense he's facing. He does have some weapons. This is their home finale. This is like I said. This could salvage their season.
Yeah.
From being incomplete. There's still going to be a lot of shuffles next year. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rough offseason for a Redskins fan. But this could salvage their season on a good note, possibly.
Right.
And like I said, it just motivates this Chicago game tonight. And like I said, who knows? Maybe the defense finally does show up, and maybe Cutler play. I mean, I will be fair. Cutler looked mediocre against
rusty. Yeah.
Grant, the Browns are a way better defensive team than we have. It's crazy.
Depends on whether the pressure's getting there and the turnovers are coming.
I mean, we'll see. And with the offense click and can they score early? Can they score fast? Can they score early? Can we hang on to the ball more than a minute?
Yeah.
I mean,
sustained drives a little more.
Sustained drives. I mean, there's a lot of question marks there, but my head says Chicago, but in the words of Bill, who dies blue and white
right.
cowboy blood. I die green and white eagle blood here, and I do know that I'd rather we just end it this week and not even worry about the Dallas game next week at all. Essentially,
and if it doesn't, if the Eagles lose, and regardless of the Cowboys win or lose, I mean that can just be motivation. Like they can be angry. They lost 2 in a row or whatever, and let's go to Dallas and be motivated.
I mean, like I said, Dallas could win and we lose, and next thing, or Dallas wins and we still win, and all we clinch.
It still matters. Yeah,
it still matters because all we really did was maybe clinch a 3rd seed then.
Yeah,
which like I said, if winning the title was the most important thing, but I think getting the 3rd seed is more important. Right, is definitely important right now.
Yeah,
because like I said, the 5th seed is San Francisco, and I just think the favorite matchup is Carolina and New Orleans for us.
One of those.
I'm saying the Saints now because I don't see them being Carolina. And if it's the Saints at Lincoln Financial Field, I think we can beat the Saints in the wild card then.
Yeah.
Just because of the road record this year. Granted, our home record is horrendous too.
Yeah.
But hopefully that's been behind us this year. But and then Carolina. I mean, that could be an interesting game. I mean, it's at Carolina. Great defense.
Cam Newton's first playoff game.
How's he going to respond here?
Even though it would also be Nick Foles' first playoff game.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, we'll see. In the end of the day, it's. To me, the Super Bowl goes through Mile High and it goes through Seattle.
Right.
You got to beat Denver and you got to beat Seattle if you want to make it to the Super Bowl here.
Right.
But like I said, the AFC, I think, is the more exciting matchups as far as they have the most seeds clinched, right? The most playoff teams right now. Yeah. But after this week, there should be a lot more NFC teams. So But I think the AFC's gonna have a fantastic match, ending.
Yeah, a lot of.
Especially after this week. This week we're gonna get a lot of answers of what scenarios are left. NFC, I think we should get most of those answered probably. Yeah. So, but we'll see.
It'll be interesting to see what happens coming down the wire in the season. And the bottom line is, they just had, regardless of what happens this week, beat the flimsy Dallas Cowboys in the last game of the season. That's all they got to do.
This week we can end it this week, but at the end of the day, even if we lose, it's down to Jerry World next week.
Right. Yeah. And I think it'd be a disappointment if they lost to the Cowboys, if that's what it came down to, and all that. So yeah, that'll wrap things up for this edition of TW Sports Talk. We'll wait and see what happens this week with all these interesting games in the NFL.
Yep.
With a lot of playoff implications going around.
Yep.
And especially the Eagles game. So yeah, we'll see what goes down there, and talk about it on TW Sports Talk as usual. So thanks for tuning in as always.